Okay, I'm going to go over the review problems, so follow along. Make sure you try them on your own first. Okay, so these ones are about interest, and up here is the simple interest formula. So interest comes from the principal, that's the money, times the rate, that's your percent, times the length of time. So it says, Sophia puts $1,200 into a savings account to save for a new computer. The account earns 2% yearly simple interest. How much interest will the account earn after 3 years? I'm going to start by writing my formula. And I'm going to fill in each letter with what I know. So the principal is the starting amount of money, $1,200. The rate is my percent divided by 100. So the 2%, I can do that over here, is 0.02. Or if you need to use a calculator to do that, that's okay. And T is the length of time. 3 years. So to get the amount of interest, you just multiply all those together. So the amount of interest is $72. And this problem is just asking about just the interest, so I don't need to find the total, so I'm done. Number 2 is kind of the same thing. It wants the interest alone. It doesn't want the total, so I'm going to start with my formula. Interest is the principal times the rate times the time. The principal is your starting amount of money. It says a family deposits $2,500 into a special holiday savings bond that pays 3.5% yearly simple interest. How much interest alone will they have earned after 4 years? So P is the principal amount of money, 2,500 times the rate, which is your percentage, 3.5%. Your percent divided by 100 is 0.035. So I'm just going to plug that in the place of R. Times the length of time is 4 years. So to get just the amount of interest, you multiply all of that together. And it's $350 for just the interest. All right, these two are asking about the totals, so we'll find the interest and then add it to the original amount. So David borrows $5,000 from a bank to start a lawn care business. The loan has a simple interest rate of 6% per year. How much interest will David pay if he repays the loan in 2 years? And then what is the total? So before we find the total, we have to find the amount of interest. So principal times rate times time. The principal is 5,000. The rate is 6%. Divided by 100 is 0.06. Times the length of time is 2 years. And then just multiply all of that together. Is $600. So that's just the interest is $600. To find the total comes from the principal, the starting amount of money, plus the interest. Right? So David has to pay back the $5,000. And now he also has to pay $600 in interest for a total of $5,600. Right, Marcus takes out a loan for $4,200 to fix his roof. The bank charges a simple interest rate of 4.8% per year. How much interest will he get over 5 years? So I write my formula. The principal amount of money is the $4,200. My interest rate is 4.8%. I'm going to divide it by 100 is 0.048. And the length of time is 5 years. So the amount of interest is $1,008. Then to find the total comes from the principal. Marcus has to pay back the $4,200 plus the interest. So he also owes an extra $1,008. For a total of $5,208. This one says, Stephen buys a shirt that originally cost $56. If the store offers a 15% discount, how much will Stephen pay for the shirt? All right, so it's a discount. This is a decrease. The price is going down, so we're going to subtract. I'm going to start by finding 15% of the cost. So I'm going to take my percent, divide it by 100 is 0.15. Then we're going to multiply that by the price. So 0.15 times the cost of $56. Is $8.40. All right, this doesn't look like money, so to make it look like money, I can add a 0. And it's a decrease, so I'm going to take my original cost, $56, subtract the amount of discount, $8.40. It'll be $47.60. All right, so this one says, Mateo wants to spend less than $20 on a new gaming headset. Which of the following options represent amounts that are within Mateo's budget? So within Mateo's budget means that it has to be smaller than $20. Select all of the correct answers. So I have to try all of these and figure out which ones of these will be less than $20. So 30% off a $26 headset. I'm going to start with taking my percent divided by 100. $0.3. I'm going to multiply that by my price of $26. Move. Thank you. So the amount of discount is $7.80. To get my final price, I have to take my $26 minus the amount of discount, $7.80. Is $18.20. That is less than $20, so this one is within his budget. 15% off a $22 headset, same thing. I'm going to take my percent, 15 divided by 100 is 0.15 times the price of $22 is $3.30. It is a discount, so I'm going to take the $22, subtract the amount of discount, $3.30, is $18.70, which is less than $20, so this one is an option. All right, an $18 headset plus 9% sales tax. So again, start with your percent divided by 100 is 0.09. Then we multiply it by our cost of $18. So the amount of tax is $1.62. Tax makes the price go up, so we're going to add. I'm going to take my original amount, add my amount of tax. So the total for this option is $19.62, which is less than $20. That one's also an option. All right, $19 headset plus 6% sales tax. Percent divided by 100, so 6 divided by 100 is 0.06. Multiply that by your cost of $19 is $1.14. Tax makes the price go up, so I'm going to take my original amount, $19, add $1.14, and this will be $20.14, which is not less than $20, so this one is not an option. All right, last one, 20% off a $21 headset plus a 3% shipping fee. So we're going to start with 20% off of 21. My percent divided by 100 is 0.2. Multiply by my cost of $21 is $4.20. That's a discount off, so I'm going to subtract. I'm going to take my $21 minus the $4.20 discount. So the new cost is $16.80. So this is my new price. Once I have a new price, I don't need the $21 anymore. Right. Then there's a $3 shipping fee. Right? It's not percent of a number, so I just need to add the $3. So I'm going to do $16.80 plus $3 is $19.80. Which is less than $20, so this one is an option. All right, last ones. So these ones have the multiple percents, so remember that you just need to do one at a time. A tech store sells a smartphone case for $40. The case is currently on sale for 15% off. After the discount is applied, a 7% sales tax is added to the price. What is the final cost of the smartphone case? So when we have multiple, we have to start with our discount first. So I'm going to start with the sale. And then I'm going to do the tax. My sale percent is 15%. So I'm going to do 15 divided by 100 is 0.15. I'm going to multiply that times my cost of $40 is $6. So to get my new price, I'm gonna take the $40 minus the $6 discount. My new price is now $34. So I'm gonna do tax on this number. I no longer need the $40. So my tax percent was 7% sales tax. So I'm gonna take my 7%, divide by 100 is 0.07, times my new amount of $34. Is $2.38. Okay, tax makes the price go up. So I'm going to take the new dollar amount, $34. I'm going to add the amount of tax, $2.38. So my final cost is $36.38. A jewelry maker buys materials for a bracelet for $20. She marks up the price by 120% to sell it in her online shop. During a flash sale, she offers the bracelets for 40% off the marked up price. What is the final selling price of the bracelet during the sale? Okay. So in this one, I have to do the markup first to get the selling price, and then we're going to do the sale amount. So my markup percent is 120. So I'm going to do 120% divided by 100 is 1.2. I'm going to multiply that by my cost of the bracelet is $20. Is $24. Okay, so that's just the amount of markup. I still need to find the whole new amount. So I'm going to take my original amount, $20, add the amount that's being marked up by, $24. So the new price of the bracelet is $44. I'm going to do the discount on this number. So I no longer need the $20. $44 is my new amount. All right, the sale percent is 40% divided by 100 is 0.4. Multiply it by the price. Again, our new price we're using is $44. Is $17.60. That's the amount of discount. Discount makes the price go down, so I'm going to subtract. I'm going to take the $44 it costs right now. Minus the $17.60. The final cost is $26.40. Okay, last one. A department store sells a pair of designer sneakers for $120. They are currently on a seasonal clearance for 25% off. Jordan has a loyalty member coupon that gives him an additional 20% off the clearance price. How much does Jordan pay for the sneakers? So we need to start with the clearance and then do the extra coupon. All right, my clearance percent is 25% off. Divided by 100 is 0.25. Multiply that by our cost, which right now the cost is $120. It's $30 of discount. Okay, that's not my final price. I need to subtract that. I'm going to take my original amount, 120. Yeah. Oh, you teaching them about math too, buddy? Mm-hmm. Minus the amount of discount, $30. The new price is $90, okay? So I no longer need the $120, I'm on $90 now. All right, so then we do the coupon. The coupon percent was 20%, so 20 divided by 100 is 0.2. Multiplied by our new price of $90. Is $18 of extra discount. So I'm going to take my price, which right now is $90, minus the amount of discount, $18. The final cost is $72.